So we got a new camera guy today. Andrew is taking over. We got some people that are on vacation, spending some holiday time. So bear with us here. Andrew is a peach, more like a pepper. But we have any difficulties, just bear with us here. But welcome back, guys, to our dojo here this afternoon. Joined with Christopher Lacey here, right-hand man beside me. And today's topic, kind of got thrown into it, but, I like to use real life examples here. The topic is people who don't know their crap is what I'm going to talk about on a very, very polite level using that word. But really, agents out there that don't know regulations, they don't know certain time periods for when you can enroll, what you can do, what you can't do. It's not that hard, guys. It's really not. But here's a concrete example, and I'm going to bounce some of this off of you here too, Christopher, since you're a little bit of a newer, kind of greener agent. But I had a lady call in. Okay, she called us in today because actually it wasn't a lady, it was a guy, really cool guy. I just got done talking with the lady, that's why I said it. But really cool guy. Me and him, we just shot it for 45 minutes after we got it done. But here's the situation. So his birthday is in November. Okay, he turned 65 in November. Back in May, he said he signed up for a Mutual of Omaha plan. Plan G to start. He said that he signed up, and then they were going to get him signed up with the drug plan and this cancer plan and this dental plan, everything like that. And then it came down to it. And he got a letter about a week and a half ago saying that his Mutual Omaha was canceled. What the heck's going on? So I told him got anything? Okay, go grab your Medicare card. What is Part A and Part B? And he goes, well, Part A says 11-1 and Part B says 12-1. And I go, well, I think I might have found it here. Why do you think his Mutual of Omaha application got canceled?
Because of his Part B start date. Is that it?
Correct. Kind of.
Hooray.
A little bit. See, he's learning, ladies and gentlemen. The other issue is that certain companies, they have a certain allotment of when you can submit applications. Think about underwriting here. Mm-hmm. Usually everybody, they say it's a 60-day cutoff is what they do. They don't do more than 60 days just because that's too much of time frame for your health to change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to write a 6-month out underwritten policy and then that person go party for 6 months.
Or they have a heart attack.
Or anything like that. We're kind of talking about not dumb agents, but just when agents do things without thinking and then another agent has to fix it. Yeah. But different situations, because that's what I did this morning with that gentleman, to where he went, I told him to check his bank. We called Mutual. They said, you don't have an active policy. Can we reinstate it? And they go, no, you can't reinstate it. You have to reapply. It was all because when they did the application, Mutual of Omaha, they let you go 6 months out. As long as that's when it's starting, as long as everything lines up. Well, we talk about May with the November 1st start date, you're 6 months out. You're A-okay there. No issue. But the issue was he didn't apply for his Part B of Medicare at that same time, so he had no policy that they could take because his Medicare portion is not active.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So come 11. So exactly. So this person who was doing this enrollment 6 months prior, you're doing it. You want to be one of the first ones to get in there and get it done, especially when they're T65 coming into open enrollment. That way that you don't have competition, and then you can just wait and say, yeah, we're good. But guess what? A lot of these agents that are doing that, they're not following up the month prior in order to make sure that everything's in place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So at that time, he got signed up for a cancer plan. They signed up for his Plan G. He thought that they signed up for a drug plan, and then they signed him up for a dental plan as well, too. Well, 2 out of those 4 don't have anything to do with Medicare. So those are going to go through. Right? Those are your filler policies. The ones that if somebody cancels, they're not going to cancel the major medical. They're going to cancel the cancer policy or the dental policy. They're going to cancel that just because it's not tangible. They're not using it too much. They see it as a waste. But you're still going to have your major medical and your drugs there. This person here didn't follow up with them because with that agent's idea is He's turning 65 in November. His Medicare is going to start November 1st. Starting May 1st, I can enroll him into this open enrollment plan. But guess what happened? November 1st came around. He didn't enroll in his Part B. So that person that only talked to him once, that he said, now the supplement's not there. She never enrolled him in a drug plan. She enrolled him in some savings plan for dental and got the cancer policy. Okay. The last two, the cancer and the dental, they went into force. But his actual health care and his supplement plan did not go into force. So what happens, he calls in and he's like, I don't know what's going on. I tried to call Medicare. I don't have anything. I just need help. I was like, okay, come here, baby. I'll help you. Come here, buddy. Yeah. For all you agents that do that, keep sending them. I love selling people who make mistakes.
We fix that stuff all the time. And you know what? It's so important. Luckily, Mutual of Omaha talks to Medicare even throughout the application. Aetna does it now too. In fact, if you don't have an MBI, you can't even do an Aetna app. But Mutual, we can do 6 months out, and it will automatically, once they get their MBI, it will automatically get put in. Mm-hmm. Still a good idea to follow up. But yeah, when you're writing somebody 6 months out, you can't get a Part D plan until you're in your initial election period 3 months prior to your effective months. So you have to wait. You need an MBI for that too. There should be some follow-up there to make sure everything goes through. It's just like selling something that's okay, bye, see ya. Yeah. And there's things that need to be done that they're not aware of or don't know how to do. So yeah.
By they, you mean the client?
The client. Yeah. I mean, they sign up, they think it's all done, but it's not done.
And you can't, you wouldn't rely on Medicare to contact the carrier.
Medicare's not going to.
Medicare, here's something I want you to learn right now. This is for every agent, especially if, you're used to just doing Advantage plans and Advantage plans only. But here's the thing. Medicare is never going to call you. They're never going to call your client. Medicare doesn't give a damn. You're a number. Mm-hmm. You are a number, and they are getting money from you. That is it. They're never going to call you. So if you're a client watching this, somebody calls claiming that they're from Medicare, they're lying. It's false. It happens every day. All these call centers and everything, it happens every day.
Social Security. It's illegal though, right? I mean, it should be.
It is illegal, but people don't get caught. And then if they do, they just switch it over to somebody else that they pull off the streets too. But this is getting to my point here. Medicare is never going to call you. Social Security is never going to call you. Why? Because they don't care. You're a number. Just like why when you talk to people, we'll break off here for a second, but you talk about people with their Plan Gs, and they're like, well, Mutual Omaha has been really good to me. Well, how much you paying for it? $400. Well, Aetna's here at $150. Screw Aetna. They haven't taken care of me like Mutual's taking care of me. Has Mutual called you to lower your premium? No, they haven't. They don't care because you're a number to them.
Dollar sign.
And that's exactly how some of these agents that, where they don't know certain regulations or certain timeframes or anything like that, they have no idea. That's how they're treating you, as a number, because they're not going over anything. Luckily for him, with the 12/1 start date for Part B, we're still in open enrollment. I got him enrolled. He's got a temporary card right now. His policy started today. They already took the premium out. I'm probably going to get paid on it on Friday. How it's going to work, we're able to get his drug plan situated too with the 1/1 start date, because he's still in his I'm new to Medicare enrollment period. Luckily, he was smart enough as a client to kind of see, okay, something's not right here. If I'm getting a letter that it's canceled and then I never received this WellCare card, or I haven't received anything from it. He was at least smart enough to call and be like, something's up. But there's a lot of people that don't.
Right.
A whole lot of people that don't, that just say, oh yeah, I talked to somebody and I got enrolled in this dental and this cancer, and they'll get those cards thinking everything else is on their way. It's not.
Right. Well, because maybe they sent them something in the mail, and people's mail gets shuffled with all kinds of junk mail and stuff like that, for example. And then maybe would they call the person on the phone if they're
some of these agents
or no? I mean the carrier.
The only way, the carrier is never going to call you. first off. The only time they're going to call you is if they have like an underwriting question, if you do an application.
Mm.
If you have a delinquent bill, you don't get a phone call. You get something in the mail. You might be even lucky to get an email. You probably won't even get that. Everything, how these people are going to communicate with you is through physical mail.
Okay.
Or if you select do you want to go paperless, then they'll just send you an email every time.
I see.
But other than that, you're subject to the mail. I got a guy who I was talking to from California, our buddy here, where he got declined on the 7th, and we called Manhattan today, and they're like, yeah, we sent out a letter, and we're like, we haven't got anything. And the lady's like, oh, that's so weird. It's been 12 days. And I go, yeah, we haven't got a letter yet. So what's going on? Like, why do we get declined? And then we're able to go through it, but they're not going to text you. The companies aren't going to text you. The companies aren't going to call you. If they have an issue, they will send you something in the mail. And a lot of times it's a one notice and done.
Exactly.
It's, hey, you missed your payment. We need payment.
Right.
They never send it again. Then the next letter you get says you are terminated.
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking of this for the previous example you were talking about, that the worst case scenario for that gentleman that got the discrepancy with his Part B date, right? Okay, is that he thinks he got a G. He's in this open enrollment period, right? Because he just turned 65, right? And then he doesn't actually have a plan G, but he thinks he does. And then he goes beyond the window and has a stroke or a heart attack, right? And then he can't get on a supplement for
similar, yes, but with supplemental plans, it's different than anything else because you have a 6-month window from when you start Part B.
Okay.
This is supplemental. I know how your brain works. This is Plan G only. When you start Part B, you have from that date 6 months past it to enroll as open enrollment.
Yeah.
That's why in the applications they asked within the past 6 months, have you applied for Medicare Part B? Are you turning 65 in 6 months? That's why that question is there. But let's say in this situation, he calls in August of next year. Where he's passed all of that thing.
Yeah.
Well, at this point here, it's August, and say you have a stroke. Guess what?
Yes,
hope you like your dental and your cancer plan.
Right. Because then he has to be underwritten.
Yep. Then he has to be. He has
Who
to
knows if he's ever going to be able to get on a supplement?
Well, he has to be underwritten. Number one. Number two, he can't get drug coverage. So at that whole time, he's just getting the penalty because he can't apply during the middle of the year. So he'd have to apply, then have to start January 1st. And even talk about advantage plans where you don't have to qualify health-wise. You still have to have some type of special enrollment period, which is something you're going to start learning about in January. But there has to be some special coincidence that is out of the normal besides you saying, I didn't want to plan. Now I do. Nobody's going to allow that. If there's a FEMA disaster, if you miss an enrollment period that you had, if you had a change in your Medicaid level, if you got extra help for your drugs because you make under a certain amount of money, something in that list has to happen for us to say, okay, then the company will give you coverage. If something in that list doesn't happen, if you just wake up with $100,000 in the bank and think, maybe it's time to start a drug plan in August, they're going to go, sorry, buddy, there's no election period for you until October 15th.
Okay. Can you run down that list again?
I'll print it off for you.
Okay.
There's like 20. There's like
list.
20 different ones. Okay. But it kind of goes back to the point to where, some of these agents where I don't want to call them dumb agents, but agents that they just don't know.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. And that's exactly what it is. Where you think, I'm getting you 6 months out, perfect, you're mine. How many of those 6 months outs actually stick?
Right. We get the calls.
Well,
Hey, I can't get a hold of my agent. I don't have my car. What's going on? I try to call the insurance company. They don't know what's going on. And, so they call us. We get them taken care of.
Well, it's not only about being conscientious and meticulous, but also compassionate, that you care about what happens to your client and that you're paying attention to all the details.
What kind of made me laugh with it is, we did a supplement. We wanted to make sure everything was going to go through. We didn't have any issues. So I was telling him, I was like, yeah, man, like I'll give you a call later this afternoon or tomorrow when I see that everything has been enrolled properly and we have your temporary card. That way I can send it to you. That way you get it. He's like, yeah, man, perfect. Okay. Well, he calls me about an hour after we get off. No, I was already on the phone with him for about an hour. Calls me about an hour after and he just goes, shit. I just checked Medicare and they'd say I don't have WellCare drug plan. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, it says I don't have WellCare. And I go, all right, well, let me take a look at my side. And so we logged into CMS. Turns out, yeah, he started, he could have got WellCare 11-1, but at that point here, there was no MBI yet. So you can't apply for a drug plan. But this person said that they applied for it. He said, and I asked him, I go, did you sign anything that said, yes, I'm going to pay $8.10? He goes, no. I didn't sign anything.
And did you give them your banking information?
Right? Well, that would be. I asked that too. That's more supplemental side. I'm talking just drug plan here itself. But it clicked in his head. He was like, "Yeah, I was thinking about it." And I go, "Maybe I should go back to my bank statements and see if they actually did charge me this $8.10." Because everything he was working off was just something he wrote down on a piece of paper. That was just a premium calculation for roughly how much everything's going to cost. He didn't go through his bank records, but then he finally did, and he goes, I don't think I have this. And I go, all right, let's check Medicare. Yep, sure enough, he wasn't enrolled in it. So I go, okay, I can help you here. Let's get it done. But what was so important about that second call is it's almost like a test. It really is, where a lot of agents, you think, oh, he's calling in to buy something. Terrific. That one was more of a test, because what did we just do for the past hour? Me and him shot it. We had fun talking to each other. We addressed a problem that he had. We got it solved. And then I had to say, hey, for some reason, this open enrollment got sent to underwriting. Maybe because you had a previous application. I don't know. But when I have an update, we'll see. So I left him without anything concrete, which is just what the last person did. But what changed in that 1 hour? What did he do? He went and checked, and then he called me back to make sure that he could get me. Chris answered, or it might have been Andrew that answered. And I go, yeah. Is that, what's his name? He goes, yeah, it is. I go, okay, don't put him on hold. Just put him on. And I pick up the phone. Hey, buddy, what's going on? He goes, oh, I just looked at this here. But what does that instill in him?
Confidence.
If I have a question, I can just call him right away.
Yeah.
We can get an answer. We can get this done. Then I told him too, and I was like, you know what the best part is now? You're stuck. You're stuck with me. So whoever this other person that thought was helping you, they're out of the picture now. You ain't got nobody. You got me. If you talk to somebody else, you're cheating on me. Okay? I don't like that. But that is what is so important with, being an agent, especially too, if you're getting into a realm that you don't really know. And supplements, they can be difficult if you look at, there's certain qualifications, there's certain things you have to do with application-wise, blah, blah, blah. You can get pretty distraught and really confused very quickly. That's why I didn't go over every single SCP situation right now on camera with you, because you're just going to get confused. And that's let's print it out and look at it. We'll go over why there are certain SCPs. But when it comes to the agents like that, that's just my kind of worry. I'm sure Brad's got this story after story of this happening too. But a lot of times out there, if you're transitioning from advantage plans to supplemental plans, or you might just do supplemental plans only right now, you have to have a follow-up. You really do. And the further out you get from something starting, the more likely somebody is to either cancel or forget about it. And if you're not in constant contact, and by constant contact, what I don't mean an email every week. I don't mean an email every 2 weeks or a call every 2 weeks just to see how they're doing. If that's how you want to be, that is perfectly fine. But if I write somebody in January that's 6 months out for July, okay, we get it done first week of July, tell them, hey, we're going to get the sup done. When you're 3 months out, I'm going to call you to remind you to enroll in Medicare. Okay, perfect. Call them in April. Say, hey, we already got your coverage taken care of, but now we got to get you enrolled in Medicare. This is how you do it. You go to Medicare.gov, everything good to go there. All right, perfect. What's the next thing we do? Hey, when you get your Medicare card number, call me so I can update it on our end, but 2, we can get your drug plan taken care of, everything like that.
And then you may call the carrier while they're on the phone with you and make you do that as well.
Yeah, we'll update the Medicare number with the carrier too. But
right.
But you see that's the difference in the situation there. That's how somebody who's been burned selling stuff 6 months out handles it.
Because you have policies that just fell apart.
Or you get paid for it. Like I said, probably get paid for it on Friday on this paycheck. Well, let's say it doesn't take place until June, and it cancels end of May. And guess what? I owe that money back. Yeah.
Clawback.
Exactly. And I lose a client. So, but like I said, keep them coming, people. Keep making mistakes. Keep doing it, because guess what? You're paying off a lot of bills for the people over here, where they're looking for competent people that they can call, that they can connect with. That's the most important thing. Connect with the person that helped them. But really, for all of you agents that are out there, you need to look into timeframes and contact. If you're in a situation right now where you're more acquisition, to where you might not get renewals. I don't think the people that did all that got any renewals. I think it's probably just one of those bonus programs where, hit a certain number of policies and here you go, here's cash or whatever, however it operates. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But that's what it seems like to me, because guess what? I had to call somebody that, if you remember, she called into us. We called the person who supposedly wrote her Plan G, her drug plan, everything like that, 6 months out. We called the person back. You called it, I think.
Yeah, I do remember.
And we called, we'll say number 1. We called number 1 and they go, okay, if you want to talk to this person, please call back this other number 2. We called number 2 and then somebody answers and they go, well, actually she can be reached at number 3. And so then we call number 3 and then it's a dead number.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no way to contact this person.
Road to nowhere.
Exactly. There's no way to contact this person that potentially was supposed to be your person when you're turning 65. There's no way to get in contact. There's no way to ask them questions. Nothing like that. So if you're stuck in one of those roles, you can be really good at the T65s. T65s are one of the best things. If you want to start stacking your money really quick, you start by doing T65s. Why, Christopher?
Because one of the reasons is because there's always somebody turning 65.
But number 2, what's the most important thing? We talk about turning 65 and supplements.
Let me think.
Think about
they're guaranteed issue. No.
Open enrollment, which means the insurance company can't say.
They can't refuse.
Exactly. Yeah. Can't get declined.
They don't have to be underwritten.
You don't have to worry about underwritten. You don't have to worry about health questions, medications, whatever it is. What's the easiest? The easiest way is when the insurance company can't say no. The only person that can is the person that's turning 65.
It gives me a lot of concern to think about the people that don't realize that they could get on a supplement in this little window here. It's like we say, the golden ticket. If they're not aware and they miss that, right? And then they have a health condition, and it's like, oh man. Wow.
The worst thing.
You could have, woulda, shoulda, but go ahead.
I was going to say the worst thing I hate to see happen if we write somebody under 65 disabled, their A and B started, so they're on Medicare. When they turn 65, they have a second open enrollment period. If they miss that window, they'll be stuck paying super high premiums for the rest of their life. Because they have health conditions going on. And I mean, there might be options down the road. We could save them some money, but it comes down to keep in touch with your clients. They're assuming that we're looking at this stuff and keeping an eye on it. They don't care. They're not keeping an eye. They don't know anything about this, but all agents, you need to stay in touch with your clients and keep an eye on things. They might think it's handled. Doesn't mean it's handled. Things that are left up to them, like enrolling through Medicare on SSA.gov, they might not do it. I call people back to make sure they do that. And lo and behold, they haven't done it yet, or they have problems with it and they need help with it. It takes about a month to get your card. First day of the month, that 3 months prior to your birth month or Part B effective month, well, it depends on special election period, but anyway, it's got to be done. It's got to be done right. And if it's not, you don't want that problem to come up, especially if they have to be hospitalized or something and they find out they don't have what they're supposed to have. Another situation that happens quite often during this period coming up, January 1st to March 31st, people will enroll them in a supplemental plan and they don't take care of getting cancellation on the Advantage plan. So what happens, they'll come around in September, they're hospitalized. They say, oh, well, you don't have Mutual of Omaha. You got a Humana Advantage plan, and then they get this big bill. So, and what happens is that they need to get their money back because the supplemental is totally worthless for all those months because it wasn't canceled. And you have to make sure it's canceled generally in writing or enroll them with a drug plan or whatever.
Okay. But so in that case, is there supplement applied to their bill, or
Nope.
so basically
you've replaced Medicare A and B, so the supplements A and B, it's made totally mute. I mean, it's worthless.
Because remember here, this is a little different topic here, but in this situation, he's explaining somebody who has duplicate coverage.
right?
So you have an Advantage plan and you have a supplemental plan.
Golly.
Now think about it here, okay? With your Advantage plan, what happens with your Advantage plan? You give up your right to Medicare.
Right.
So now when you're getting billed, they're not billing Medicare, they're billing your Advantage plan. So then if you have your supplement sitting here, basically you're just putting money into something that you can't touch because guess what? It goes by order. So what did you have first? You had the Advantage plan, then you got the supplemental plan, but you didn't cancel the Advantage plan.
Yeah.
So Medicare in their system still says you have Humana. So the supplement the supplement has nothing to bill to because Medicare's not getting any bills. That's how that works.
Really is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
That is
terrible. I mean, when we're responsible for somebody's health care, we agents have a lot of responsibility. You have to realize that. I mean, you're taking a lot of people, and responsible for their health care. If they get hospitalized, they came to you to make sure they're covered, and now they're not covered. And
because
it's your fault.
The agent missed a detail.
Exactly. So we have to keep that in mind as agents. This is not something to be taken lightly. It's not a one and done. You make a commission, you're off to the next one, a run and gun type situation. No, I mean, this is a lifetime relationship, and that's what you want.
Life or death. Could be.
I call people. I mean, they have me. Hey, Brad, how you doing? I mean, they know my numbers. We have that relationship. They know they can call me anytime.
And they trust you.
And they trust me. And because I've taken care of them. And you need to be in that type of situation. You don't want to let people go and don't get back to them, and all that's just a disaster. Anyway,
and that's that's kind of the scary point. That's what we'll kind of wrap it on here. We'll take the guy I helped out today here this afternoon. He thought everything was going to start 12/1. If he would have went to the hospital on 12/2, supplement's not there to help you. You don't have. I mean, you have Medicare. But say he had $100,000 worth of doctor's claims or tests or whatever it is, or he was hospitalized. Well, there's your deductible. Go ahead and hit your deductible. We'll say after that he gets out of the hospital and he's got to run all these tests. They rack up. Well, here's your 20% of everything, and then it turns out, well, I thought I had a supplement going and everything like that, but guess what? The agent didn't follow up on it. And this is what I'll wrap up on here is that. For those of you out there that in my head, I like to just say acquisition agents because it makes it a little bit smoother. Basically, where you don't get renewals or you don't handle any customer service or any interface with the client after you sell it. Okay. This is what I'm going to say to you here. If you can sell 4 or 5 policies to somebody turning 65, why are you only doing acquisition? Because you're not getting paid on anything else. You're getting a bonus and everything like that. If you can do 4 or 5 policies with somebody turning 65 and that's a day in the park for you, you need to get out of that as fast as possible because you're only making them money. You're not making yourself any money for your talents. And that's the one thing that you hate to see in this business, because this business, it does chew people up and spit them right back out in a very quick manner. But if you have talent like that to where you can sell it, you've got a whole lot of talent to make a whole lot of money. It's just that the issue is that you're sacrificing that right now, and the company that you work for is making that money instead of you. That's really how it's working. The end game with all of this stuff here, guys, is renewals. That's what it is. With you potentially taking, some time for yourself and Bonnie here, guess what? You don't have to outbound or anything, and you're still going to get a check for $5,000 to $7,000 every week. That's just from how much you've done in your time.
It's just the rest of my commission, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's nice. Other industries, I was in industrial sales for about 25 years. You make one sale, maybe you keep a client, you resell them again down the road, but that's it. I mean, there's no ongoing, you haven't built a house. Mm-hmm. You've just maintained a house, or, and this industry is phenomenal in that respect. Mm-hmm. And you need to get set up with a company that will allow you to get renewals mm-hmm. and keep them, because that's why we're here,
you put all the effort in. You want to be rewarded for it.
Absolutely.
Instead of a one-time high five.
Yeah, and if we're going to take care of the clients, we should get everything. It's mm-hmm. Super important.
Yeah. So if you are an agent in that situation, number one, if you're making mistakes like that, keep doing it, because like I said, you're paying a whole lot of bills over here, and we really appreciate you. But number two, if you want to get away from making those mistakes and actually taking charge here, there are two guys that are not in here because they're busy. You need to call us. You need to talk to Steven. You need to talk to Frank, so we can help you out with that. So from all of us here, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Andrew, for stepping in here. I'm sure everything is good. I have no way of knowing because we can't see anything. We'll go back, and you want to get that on camera too? Yeah, okay. But that was a thumbs up, right? Okay. But thanks, guys, for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a shout here. Have a great rest of your day. Everybody stay warm for this cold weather that's about to hit us, and go sell something. Thanks, guys.